Okay, inviting and introducing my next featured guest on my show and podcasts now. We have a musical artist called Amie Lou Shaw joining me on my programme, talking about and promoting her new single called The Bubblegum Princess. Yeah, The Bubblegum Princess. But before that, I just wanted to get Amy on my show now just to introduce her and see how she is today. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. It's great to be on the show and yeah, great introduction. Thank
Brill.
you.
And Amy Lou Shaw, welcome. Can you just tell me and my listeners just a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how long you've been a recording artist for, and so on?
Sure. So basically I've been a recording artist for um gosh, now about over 10 years, I suppose, something like that. I mean, I've written songs since I was probably about, I would say, 14 or 15, something like that. But or possibly younger actually. But yeah, I've been kind of working on putting albums together and stuff like that for several years now. But I love it. I think the thing is, once you're creative, you just you keep going, don't you? You
Yeah,
keep on kind of bringing out more and more songs, and it's all about the creative process. And so yeah, there you go. So this is my latest one, the Bubblegum Princess, or well, it's Bubblegum Princess, I guess. But it's got a various projects with it and stuff. But yeah, anyway, I'll let you.
nice. Brill. Yeah, so introducing the Bubblegum Princess, that's your new single doing the rounds at the moment. Just mentioned there. How have you found this has been received? And was the idea with this one to get people moving on the dance floor? Because it's quite a funky one, this one, isn't it? Funky track.
Yes, yeah, much more so than my other songs. I mean, the other stuff that I've written is much more kind of singer-songwritery, so it's more kind of like piano-led, acoustic type stuff, I guess. And then I've got two versions of this song, so I've kind of got like a pop version, and then there's like a club remix version. Inspired by somebody in my family who said to me, you know what, you really should do a remix of this
Mm,
song. And I was like, you know what, you're right, I really should do that. I mean, it's kind of like old school kind of style way of doing things, I guess, isn't
mm,
it? But I really enjoyed putting that together, and just went onto Logic, and I just thought, right, I'm gonna just literally put this thing together. And a number of different sounds that really inspired me, and I wanted to make it sound uplifting, and to kind of get quite a fairly kind of high BPM, so beats per minute, because I kind of thought to myself, this has got to be something that people want to like dance to, like
mm.
on the dance floor kind of thing. So it's got to sound clubby, so hence, I did a version of it that is a club remix, right? And it went really well. I think some songs are trickier to kind of remix in that way, but this one seemed to work
Mm.
quite well for that. So yeah,
Nice.
so far so good.
Yeah, so the Bubblegum Princess is quite a commercial record, and you say you've commercialized it again, and you said the old school. Back in the day when artists used to release one single, then they used to get a DJ to accompany the single release on the CD with like a 12-inch version extended. So it's a good idea. You don't hear of that say more, a single release and then a dance remix.
Yeah, you don't. And I think the thing is that I think there's room to bring back some of the old school ways of doing things because, I mean, when I see like how popular records are nowadays, and how much of a revival those have gone through, it does make me think that actually there is room for this as well, and sort of bringing back some of these older ways of doing things. Gosh, I remember years ago going along to Woolworths, and do you remember those days? I mean, I'm aging myself here, but going into Woolworths, and that was the single release. It was just
Mm,
like it was always the latest single, wasn't it? And then, on that single release, you always got a few remixes as well. There was always like, the song, and then there was like maybe
yeah.
two or three remixes on there. And that was the way it was done,
Mm,
back in time. I think there's room for it. I think that you know, nowadays, like at gigs and things like that, there's no harm in even having like a download card. So you've just got a card
Mm.
which you can say, you know, you download this song, and then you're also going to get the two remixes as part of that as well. Um, you know, I think also it keeps club music going as much as it does
Mm.
every other style of music, because it's kind of saying, it's kind of feeding into other styles of music by
Yeah.
doing that as well. So, and hopefully almost getting out of this culture of this 30-second music culture that we seem to be in,
Mm.
which is just, it's just crazy to me, you know.
Mm.
And you know, you go onto TikTok and it's like 30 seconds, it's
Mm.
like, you know, it's like hit, you know, go kind of thing, like 30 seconds, there's
Mm.
your lot, sort of thing.
I know
um
with the charts at the moment, it's very 80s synth influenced, and other factors of like releasing singles as well as the cover art as well to this record. You have like a retro look to your cover art, with Madonna. She was quite visual with her artwork as well.
She was, yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, it's like you get sort of pop art and things like that, you know, and that kind of like Andy Warhol kind of style as well, you know. That I always thought that was kind of really creative.
Mm.
I actually think the thing is, you know, it's nice to be able to bring a concept together. And you know, the artwork here is bringing a concept together of, you know, be yourself. It's kind of presenting this idea of, you know, she's wearing pink, she looks like she's kind of like, you know, all dressed up to the nines and stuff like that. She's a 90s pop princess in essence, kind of thing. And yet it's kind of like the song is the reverse message, which is, you know, be yourself, be authentic, you know. So it's that idea that as an artist, you're kind of like, you're dressing and you're making yourself look a certain way. You're appealing to a certain audience, by, you know, by visually looking a certain way. But in fact, what people really want, it seems nowadays, is authenticity. I mean, I'm seeing such a rise in that nowadays. And there's, you know, like I kind of have said to a few people that, you know, sort of words in marketing nowadays is things like being authentically yourself, um, you know, being bold, you know, and not being afraid to be bold. So to me, these are the messages that we're yearning for. We're yearning to kind of, for want of a better word, unpeel the layers,
Hmm.
you know. And that's kind of what this project is all about. It's saying, you know, what would it be like to, you know, to be more like that, rather
Mm.
than to kind of feel like you have to constantly try so hard, and you know,
Mm.
or kind of like, yeah, you know, wear so many things that you know, you're not really
Mm.
expressing all of who you are. And I think that's the same with the artwork is has to represent that as well.
Mm. There's one word which springs to mind. I'm not sure if it's a word. I think it is. I think it's called naturality, which basically means being true to yourself, and just letting things take its own course.
Exactly. It's all about that. Yeah, it's about it's exactly. It's I mean, I actually went to a concert not so long ago where they were, you know, they were showcasing the artwork and stuff of a couple of well-known artists. Um and and it was incredible, this artwork, you know. I mean, they were selling it for quite a high price. Which you could understand, because, you know, like this place kind of, it commands a high price for a lot of things. But yeah, I mean, the artwork was amazing because it was concept art. So, you know, it was literally presenting concept within the album, you know, within the songs. And then it's like it's showcasing
Mm.
this incredible kind of otherworldly, if you like, kind of artwork, which I thought, oh, that's absolutely fantastic. Like, I love all that kind of thing because it's creative. It gets
Mm.
your
Mm.
creative imagination going, and you know, and it's, I think we have to bring that back. I truly believe we
Yeah.
need to bring that back so badly. Um,
I mean,
so
on
yeah.
on these segments, we don't really talk a lot about artwork, really. So it's nice we've touched on that. Another factor as well, like, not just releasing singles, putting together a music video as well. Do you have a music video for Bubblegum Princess doing the rounds at the moment?
Not yet, but we are in talks about that.
Okay,
So yeah, a good friend of mine is actually a film director, so I think she's going to give us a hand with it. So
that's
putting that
good.
together, but yeah, again, we've got some ideas and we've done some storyboarding for that as well. So I think it'll be fantastic
Mm,
to bring that, together. I
mm,
think that the first thing that we kind of want to do really is to kind of like get various people, snippets of people that are talking about the concept behind Bubblegum Princess and what they believe about it, what they believe about being themselves, basically,
mm,
being authentic and things like that. So it's definitely that message that's kind of going out there, which I think has been used in a lot of marketing campaigns as well. But I feel like there's still more work to be done
mm.
with that, possibly.
I mean,
From what I'm seeing.
you're doing the promotion for this new record, but my listeners may not know you released an album called On My Mind a couple of years back, which I listened to a track called New Year's Day on there. That was the last one on the album. It was quite an emotive record, that was, listening to back.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. New Year's Day. Yeah, exactly. Because it's kind of like saying, because New Year's Day is a time where the whole year has been and gone,
Mm,
and it's kind of looking back at that year and kind of going, you know, it's over now, this whole year, and it's kind of like, what do you sort of, how do you feel about that year now, kind of that's been and gone. And it's saying, show them what you're made of. Like, don't just hold back. Um, don't just kind of hide in the shadows. It's because it was that journey of, um, I guess, realizing that, you could hide yourself in the shadows and you could say, like, not bring out your whole personality, like your whole self, as it were. Um, I think society tends to
mm,
restrict us sometimes and kind of make us feel like, oh, we can't show all of ourselves, kind of thing, to people and stuff. um and so it's kind of saying the opposite of that. It's saying, just be who you are, show them what you're made of, rather than sort of like just holding back, and doing, what's perceived to be quote unquote okay in life, as it were. you know so yeah, it's definitely got a deep message behind it,
mm.
for sure.
So the On My Mind, that project was 2022, and people can listen to that. They can go back on Spotify or streaming platforms to take a listen to that. Um, looking forwards, do you enjoy just releasing single after single, or do you think that will eventually lead to an EP in the not too distant future?
Yeah, I mean, the plan is to release single after single, with this album, definitely, because I think nowadays that is the way to do things. But yes, I will be releasing. It will be a whole form part of a whole album, I think, as well. So, but what I hope to do is also to bring it into Patreon, so that I can kind of start to get various albums on
Mm,
there as well. So yeah, I'm looking into different ways of kind of
yeah.
making it possible to bring this whole thing together. It's certainly a big project.
Mm, mm,
Sometimes you think to yourself, "Have I bitten off more than I can chew?" But but actually, it's quite exciting. I quite enjoy having a challenge as well. And I think, being a creative, it's like, there's always going to be, like I say, the next project, the
mm,
next thing that you're going to want to work on. And you just keep moving forward. That's the main thing, isn't it? I think, and keep bringing things out, fresh new material that people can enjoy. And that's the main thing,
mm.
really, for me.
And I
Mm.
know this question is kind of self-explanatory, but where is best for people to follow you on social media? Like emailing lists and streaming platforms. Just Google Amie Lou Shaw.
Yeah, Amie Lou Shaw. So my website is www.amieloushaw.com. And then Facebook, I'm on that, and I think that's the same as well. It's facebook.com and then / Amie Lou Shaw. I'm on Reverb Nation as well with the same name. Yeah, just Google it. Hopefully I should come up somewhere. So yeah, and that'll come up with my website, and then my albums and things, and any material that I've released online. Also bear in mind that originally my original name as an artist was Amanda Shaw, but I did have to change that because there is another Amanda Shaw out in the US. So I did change that just to differentiate myself. So that's another thing I just have to add as well.
No worries. And do you have any gigs or shows or playing live across the county or country in August, September coming up or beyond you may like to share?
Not yet, but I'm looking into it. Yeah, I'm looking into kind of getting some more gigs in and stuff like that. I mean, my goal is to do a tour of the UK. But I have to sort of make it work with everything else I'm doing, obviously, as well. So at the moment it's just a case of just working on this release, and I've also been working on some more remixes for some of the tracks in this album, so I'm still doing that as well. And I'm still getting these songs mixed as well, and mastered. So yeah, so it'll be probably bringing out another album, sort of like single releases, and then an album. So the thing is you have to sort of bring together everything that you're doing first of all, and then you have to kind of like go out there and do your gigs and stuff like that. And I think that's probably the best way, so that it is a process, as you know.
Yeah. So like when you're performing live, you got the ammunition, you got all the recording material you've done in the past ready to perform live on that stage, ready.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also it's because I'm working on a different sound, because I've got stuff that's acoustic, and then I've also got this stuff that's quite I guess funk soul in style. It's a different project to what I was doing before. So it means that the gigs that I'm going to get for the soul stuff and the funk stuff is they're going to be slightly different to my singer-songwriter stuff, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So it does mean that they're almost two separate projects that I'm sort of running side by side at the same time, if you see what I mean.
Great. Well, thanks for joining me on today's interview podcast. I think that's everything I wanted to ask you today, and we'll get your new track, Bubblegum Princess, on my show played now. Thanks, Amie Lou Shaw, joining me on today's show.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Nice to meet you.
And you.